Okay, David, I'm going to try to take this vintage Henckels razor from bevel set on this Shapton 2K, and I'm going to go at it with the kiita that I'm sending you and see if we can get a shave ready edge in a relatively short period of time. Of course, you can see I'm a fast worker, but everything's under control. Set that Shapton aside. And I want to wipe off the blade. I have a little tub of water next to me here. And I'm going to raise a slurry. This is a handheld stone. Oh, by the way, before we go to the next step, I'm going to put the razor in my microscope so you get a fair idea of what the scratch pattern looks like from the Shapton. But this is an excellent bevel here. So we've got a full-bodied scratch pattern that goes all the way to the edge, made up of some fairly significant scratches there. And that same pattern goes all the way down to the base of the bevel, which is right there, and that's where the bevel itself meets the flat, shiny part of the razor. My focusing is going a little I think my microscope program is slowing down for some reason. Anyhow, back to the edge. So we're going to take that edge and I'm going to refine it with the kiita. And I've raised the slurry already, so let's get right on that. And it's a handheld stone, so you're going to see the slurry beginning to turn dark here relatively quickly. Okay, we'll view. You can see the slurry is pretty dark there. Hope you can anyhow. Set that aside. And let's see if we can view the scratch pattern in the microscope. Okay, so we've ended up with Kasumi finish, foggy finish, and there's the edge. And I'll scroll down to the base of the bevel. Here we are again down there, and you can see the 2000 grit scratches are pretty much gone down here. There might be a few shadows of them. But in any case, we're more concerned with the edge itself up here. That is, I think, a piece of lint from the towel that's sitting on the surface of the razor. Okay, so now we're going to take the Henckels and we're going to go directly to palm stropping. This is what a barber would do in Japan. And I would imagine that there were palm stroppers in Europe too, or in the US in the 1800s. Strops are definitely a beautiful thing, but let's see if we can forego the strop and get a shave ready edge with just off the palm stropping. Okay, rinse off the blade there. We're going to go back up, look at the edge one more time. That kasumi finish is traditionally a very shallow scratch pattern type finish. So palm stropping has quite a good effect on that. Now those dark spots could be little skin particles, I'm not sure. Something like that. There's the remnants of a 2000 grit scratch. You can see it's relatively faint now. Okay, so I think that you use a HHT as one way to prove your edges, and I do too, and a lot of people do also. So I have a little white table here so we can see the hair. So we're not getting an HHT yet. That was root in, I believe. Maybe that was root out. Now it's root in. So we're getting an HHT like maybe a 3 or a mild 4. And I would suggest that this edge, if we went back to the stone and did some water only passes, that was a 4. It ended up here, but it was silent. That was close to a 5. That was 4. It popped back. That's my criteria. If we went back to the stone and did some water only passes, okay, this is root in on this example. Yeah, I mean, you and I both know that some water passes can bump up a blade pretty easily. So these are root in, and I'll turn that hair around. So these are root out here. And I'm not getting, well, I got a 3 there, but it was in the middle of the razor. There's a 3 and it happened right into there. Maybe with some more stropping I could do a root out and get better results. But definitely with the, let me see how many minutes I have. Oh, I still have about 4 or 5 minutes that I could work on this. With palm stropping, it's easier to strop on the cushion there in the middle of the blade. So if I pay some attention out here towards the toe, and then towards the heel, I might get some more complete results. Okay, see if that kicked it up a little bit. I love the idea of palm stropping. There's nothing like a good strop, you know, or a linen element, but this is, you were talking about for taking, that was like a violin. You were talking about taking maybe a stone on a trip, and this would streamline your kit. So I think we've sort of lost the edge as far as HHT goes. And what I would do next is, as I mentioned before, pretty much rinse off the stone. This is water only. I give it another rinse. I can feel a little suction in there now. And just for sake of discussion here, I'm going to put the razor back in so we can see the edge, and I think there should be a little bit of a scratch pattern reestablished on the blade. And if it leads all the way up to the edge, then it shows that our bevels are still relatively flat. So yeah, we do have a faint scratch pattern there, and it was straight on, it wasn't the circular. So I'm going to take that edge now and strop it and see if we can improve that HHT result. And dry my hand off so it doesn't stick at all. Some shave or razors that were shaving maybe yesterday or the day before or something and don't really cut the hairs that easily today. If you go back to the stone, instead of going all the way back to bevel set stage, you can sometimes pick up some keenness just going to the stone just a few passes. Okay, got that same here. It's sort of a curly hair, which is part of the problem here. Okay, that was a 3. It came back here. That was close to a 4. And that was a 4. That is out at the toe, and we're a little bit weak out there again. So let me turn the hair around. And this is a curling hair too. It's hard to manipulate, but these impromptu honing sessions are always a little bit of a challenge. Okay, this is root in, and that was a solid 4, not really a 5. That was closer to a 5, and that was in the middle portion of the blade. I'm getting resistance up in the toe again, so a lot of that has to do, that was a 5 towards the heel. A lot of these results have to do with hand pressure and edge contact on the blade, on the stone. And with handheld razors, it's always a little bit more of a challenge. That was a 5. And we're talking down here now, and these are real even 5s and 4s. There again, it is root in. That's what I'm going to go with right now on this razor. So with a little bit of effort, we did refine that portion of the blade pretty well. And I think you might be able to do a better job than me.